pass through this 3 mm pearl into this 11O champagne underneath, like this. And after this, and now after exiting through this 11O champagne, I will pass through this next 11O fuchsia underneath this 3 mm pearl, like this, into this 11O fuchsia and into this 11O fuchsia. And now I will pick up one 15O champagne and pass through this next 11O fuchsia. Again I will pick up one 15O champagne and pass through this next 11O fuchsia. Again picking up one 15O champagne and pass through this next 11O fuchsia. And this way I'll be adding these 15O champagne all through this round. Now here I am adding my last 15O champagne and passing through this 11O champagne. This is the look after adding this round of 15O champagne, and now I'm stepping up into the first 15O champagne that I added in this round, and now I will pick up one 11O fuchsia and pass through this next 15O champagne. Again picking up one 11O fuchsia and pass through this next 15O champagne. Again picking up one 11O fuchsia and pass through this next 15O champagne. And this way I'll be adding these 11O fuchsia in between these 15O champagne all through this round. Now here I'm adding my last 11O and passing through this 15O champagne, stepping up into the first 11O fuchsia, and after adding this round of 11Os, this is the look of our pendant. Right now you can see, just pull it tight. Right now you can see that I'm exiting through this 11O fuchsia, the first one that I added in this round, and now I'm going to pick up two 15O champagne. And now here you can see this, I'm exiting through this 11O, and after picking up these two 15O champagne, I will pass through this 15O champagne in between the pearls, going diagonally like this. Now I will pass through this 15O champagne. I added two, now I'll be passing through this second one like this. Now I will pick up one 15O champagne and pass through this next 11O champagne like this. Again I will pick up two 15O champagne and pass through this next 15O champagne, going down through this 15O champagne, picking up one 15O champagne and pass through this next 11O fuchsia like this. Again I will pick up two 15O champagne and pass through this next 15O champagne in between the pearls, going down through this 15O champagne and pick up one 15O champagne and pass through this next 11O fuchsia. So here you can see we are creating a bit of Y here like this. Again I'm picking up two 15O champagne and pass through this next 15O champagne, going down through this 15O champagne, picking up one 15O champagne and into the next 11O fuchsia. So this way we are creating these Ys and bringing these pearls closer to the this round of 11Os. So we will be doing this all through this round. Now here I am adding my last set of 15Os. So for this I have picked up two 15O champagne, passing through this 15O champagne in between the 3 mm pearls, moving up to this 15O, picking up 115 champagne and pass through this next 11 fuchsia. So after adding these 15 this is the look of our pendant. And now I will pick up, here you can see that I am exiting through this 11 fuchsia, and now I'm picking up one 11 champagne and pass through this next 11 fuchsia. Again I will pick up one 11 champagne and pass through this next 11 fuchsia. Again picking up one 11 champagne and pass through this next 11 fuchsia. Again picking up one 11 champagne and pass through this next 11 fuchsia. So this way I'll be adding these 11 champagne in between these 11 fuchsia all through this round. Now after adding these 11 champagne, this is the look of our pendant, and after adding this last 11 champagne, I have stepped up into the first 11 champagne that I added in this round. So this is the look of our pendant now. Now I will pass through this next 11 fuchsia into these two 15 champagne, into this 15 champagne. Now I'm exiting through this 15 champagne in between these two 3 pearls, and now I will pick up 5 15 champagne. So here I have picked up 5 15 champagne, and now I will pass through this next 15 champagne in between these two 3 pearls, and now I will move up through this fifth 15 like this. So this has become our first 15 now, and now I'll be picking up only 4 15 champagne. So here I have picked up 4 15 and I will pass through this next 15 like this, move up through this last one like this. Now this is our first 15 and I'll be picking up 4 more. So here I have picked up 4 15 and I will pass through this next 15 again. I will move up through this last 15 again. I will pick up 4 15 and pass through this next 15 champagne, again moving up through this last one and pick up 4 15 and pass through the next 15 in between these pearls. So this way we are going to add the set of these 15 all through this round. Now I have to add this last set of 15 So here as I exit through this 15 this is my first 15 I'll be picking up only 3 15 champagne, and this is my first 3 more 4, and now I will be passing through this first 15 After picking up these 3 15 I will pass through this first 15 of the first set like this, and into this 15 champagne underneath like this. So moving up through this 15 and here we have added our 5 15 we added 3, fourth one was from here and fifth one was from the first set. So after adding these 15 champagne, this is the look of our pendant. Now after exiting through this 15 champagne, I will step up into the first 2 15 champagne. You can see that I'll be exiting through the middle one. Here 1 2 3 and I'm exiting through this middle one. You can see that we added 5 here one has come down, and one from both the ends have come down, and three are on the top of this pearl. So I'll be exiting through the middle one. 1, 2 and 3. I'm exiting through this second one, that is the middle one, on the top of this pearl. Now I will pick up 1 4 mm bicone. Again I will pass through the middle 15 that is the second 15 of the next set of 15 round the pearl, like this. Again I will pick up 1 4 mm bicone and pass through this middle 15. Again picking up 1 4 mm bicone, I will pass through this middle 15. Again picking up this 4 mm bicone, I will pass through this middle 15, like this. So this way we are going to add these 4 mm bicones all through this round. Now here I am adding my last 4 mm bicone, and I will pass through this middle 15 of the first set. Very gently we have to add these bicones, and here you can see after adding the bicones, this is the look of our pendant. And now as I'm exiting through this 15, I will go down through this next 15, this one, and now I will pick up 3 15 galvanized magenta, and here you can see after exiting through this 15, I will pass through this 11 champagne in front of this next bicone, here, like this. Moving up into these two 15 magenta, like this. I will pick up 1 15 magenta, and now I will be passing through all these 3 15 champagne, like this. Again I will pick up 3 15 magenta and pass through this 11 champagne, move up through these first two 15 magenta, pick up 1 15 magenta and pass through the next 3 15 champagne, like this. Again picking up 3 15 magenta, pass through this 11 champagne, move up through these two 15 magenta, pick up 1 15 magenta and pass through the next 3 15 champagne, like this. Again pick up 3 15 magenta, pass through this 11 champagne, move up through these first two 15 champagne, 15 magenta, pick up 1 15 magenta and pass through the next 3 15 champagne, like this. So here you can see that we are creating these Y shapes here with these 15 magenta, and we would be doing this all through this round. Now here I am adding my last 15 of this last Y here, into these 3 15 champagne, like this. So here after completing this round, this is the look of our pendant. And now, after exiting through this 15 champagne, I will go down through these 3 15 magenta, into this 11 champagne, now up through this first, only this first one, 15 magenta, and now I will pick up 1 3 pearl and go down through this 15 magenta, which is attached to this 11 champagne, like this. Into this 11 champagne, up through the same 15 champagne, 15 magenta, only this one. Again, pick up 1 3 pearl, go down through this 15 magenta attached to 11 champagne, into the 11 champagne, up through that same 15 magenta, again pick up 1 3 pearl, down through this 15 magenta attached to 11 champagne, into the 11 champagne, up through this same 15 magenta, again pick up 1 3 pearl, down, again pick up 1 3 pearl, down through this 15 magenta, into the 11 champagne, up through the same 15 magenta, like this. So this way we are going to add these 3 pearls in between these Y's that we created in the last round, all through this round. Now here I am adding my last 3 pearl, and now moving up through this 15 champagne. Now after adding these 3 pearls, this is the look of our pendant, and now we will just pull these 15 magenta so that they may pop out, like this, just like all these 15s. Just pull them out, like this. you can see now they are popping out from in between these pearls, and we will pull these 15 O's, pull these up like this. And now after pulling them out like this, they have started popping out from here, from this gap in between these pearls. And now after exiting through this 15O, I will go up through this 15O champagne, sorry, 15O magenta, into this 15O magenta and these two 15O champagne. So I'll be passing through these three 15Os into the bicone, and now I will pick up one 11O fuchsia silver line and pass through this next 4mm bicone. Again picking up one 11O fuchsia silver line, I will pass through this next 4mm bicone. Again picking up this 11O fuchsia, I will pass through this next 4mm bicone. So here I am adding these 11O fuchsia in between these bicones, and I'll be doing this all through this round. And now I'm picking up my last 11O and pass through this bicone and into the next 11O. So here after adding these 11O fuchsia silver line, and this is the look of our pendant. And now as you can see, I'm exiting through this 11O. I will pick up two 15O champagne, and here I will pass through this. You can see these three 15O magenta in front of this bicone. So here I'll be passing through this first 15O magenta like this. Now I will pick up one 15O magenta and pass through this next 15O magenta. Here you can see I have 1, 2 and 3. So after exiting through this first one, I will not pass through this second one. Down here I will pick up one 15O magenta and pass through this third one and go up towards the bicone like this. And now again I will pick up two 15O champagne and pass through this 11O fuchsia silver line like this. Again pick up two 15O champagne, and the same way you can see these three 15O magenta in front of this bicone, and after picking up these two 15O champagne, I will pass through this first 15O magenta. Keep the thread nice and tight here. Skip this one and pick up one 15O magenta and move up through this third one, or you can say one into the second one, and you have to move towards this 11O fuchsia silver line like this. Now again we are going to pick up two 15O champagne and pass through this 11O fuchsia silver line. Again pick up two 15O champagne down through this first 15O magenta. Be careful, you have to keep your thread nice and tight here, and pick up one 15O magenta and go up to this 15O magenta. Pull this up and pick up two 15O champagne, pass through this 11O fuchsia silver line. Again pick up two 15O champagne, down through this first 15O magenta, pick up 115 magenta, move up through this one, pull up, pick up 215 champagne and pass through this 11 fuchsia silver. Again, pick up 215 champagne and pass through this 15 magenta, pull up, pick up 115 champagne, 15 magenta, and move up through this 15 magenta, again pull up, pick up 215 champagne and through this 11 fuchsia silver. So this way we are going to add these 15 champagne and 15 magenta all through this round. Now here I am adding my last two 15 champagne, and after passing through this 11 fuchsia, and this is the look of our pendant after adding these 15 champagne and 15 magenta.